Bird Rock is one of the few key gateways to true La Jolla waterfront in the seven figures, while La Jolla Shores is not. And here's what the 7 to 9 mil range data reveals. Within the past 2+ years, Bird Rock has recorded just one detached sale on and off market in the 7 to 9 mil range. If we look at La Jolla as a city overall, we've had 34 sales within that same band and time frame. So the Bird Rock sale made up just 1 out of 34 sales, and it was the only waterfront of the entire group. It was an $8.5 million island-style contemporary on Calumet, nearly 3,700 square feet of space on a 0.15-acre lot with roughly 60 feet of frontage, according to the tax records. So it also has a pool, spa, and designer appointments throughout. But based off the finishes shown, it does not appear to have been a recent renovation. And it closed roughly 2 years ago, so it's likely worth more than $9 million today. On top of that, we now have 2 additional homes pending on market that are likely to close within this 7 to 9 mil range. And one of them is in Bird Rock, and it's also waterfront, which is quite interesting. So we've seen this in Bird Rock's sub $7 million range as well, where the waterfront homes are trading in the 7 figures. Do you remember we had Dolphin Place for $5 million? That was a 2025 closing. And then we also had Calumet, 6.75. That was a 2024 closing. So this is not a one-off situation. The data keeps showing us that Bird Rock is where these 7-figure waterfront trades exist. And please note, that's not to say 8-figure trades do not exist in Bird Rock. They certainly do. For example, the record breaker is Blue Heron's Aura House, which sold for $22.5 million a few years back in 2023. So out of all 34 of those detached sales in La Jolla within the past 2+ years, the highest concentration of sales is actually going to be in Meerlands and the Shores. So each one of them have 9 each, and then Meerlands actually has another one that is pending, likely to close within range. So technically, Meerlands could be possibly in the lead. And then we also have the Country Club, which had 6 sales. And then a quick note, we did have a sale in the Shores on Valecitos at $7 million, but that's in the $5 to $7 million range tally. So I'm just flagging that that home exists. So most buyers are shopping in these 3 areas simply because that's where the supply is. More inventory equals a higher probability of turnover. So Meerlands and the Country Club are more inland. They're more land and view neighborhoods, right? You have generally larger estates resting on large parcels, and they do not offer waterfront at all. It does not exist there. But if you look at La Jolla Shores, that is where you can find waterfront. However, at a different price tier than Bird Rock. So why didn't the Shores provide any waterfront trades despite being one of the most active neighborhoods in this 7 to 9 mil range? Well, the first reason is because Shores trades at a premium, waterfront or not. The Shores is a legacy beach club neighborhood. You're paying for proximity to the actual beach at La Jolla Shores, which is arguably one of the best beaches in the country. Bird Rock is characterized by rocky bluffs and does not offer the same topography. Then you have the La Jolla Beach and Tennis Club, walkability to fine dining and shops, and immediate proximity to institutions like UCSD. We also have the Birch Aquarium, Scripps. And many of these homes offer coastal views toward La Jolla Cove, the defining visual symbol of the city of La Jolla, which naturally carries recognition and demand. Another reason is the structural difference. So in La Jolla Shores, we have 34 true waterfront parcels. We have 22 on El Paseo Grande, which average roughly 0.28 acres. And then we have 12 amongst Spindrift and Princess, which is further south. And those are averaging roughly 0.53 acres. And quick note, the homes off Torrey Pines Road, just south of Princess, are not included in the Shores count because that area is technically the village. You can find 7-figure waterfront trades there. That's another gateway. But anyway, the overall average lot size amongst these 34 true waterfront homes in the Shores is approximately 0.37 acres, with a range from 0.21 up to about 0.82 acres. Now let's compare that to Bird Rock, where we have 77 true waterfront homes, not 34, 77. So what could that mean? Yes, that the land is likely less. You have less land, the lot sizes are likely smaller, which is accurate on average. Because again, in the Shores, we said the average is 0.37. In Bird Rock, the average lot size is 0.17. So that's less than half the size of the Shores. And the range is 0.05 up to about 0.47 in Bird Rock. Whereas in the Shores, we said The bottom end of the range is 0.21. Whereas in Bird Rock, majority of the homes actually sit on a lot size that is less than 0.21 acres. That said, the way the land was originally subdivided matters because that affects ocean frontage. Parcel size and frontage really come down to configuration. So just because Bird Rock's overall average lot size is smaller, that does not automatically mean weaker frontage. There are multiple homes exceeding 100 plus feet of ocean frontage in Bird Rock, as seen in the shores as well. So La Jolla Shores waterfront equals a premium location where there's less supply of waterfront homes in existence in comparison to Bird Rock. And those homes also, on average, rest on larger parcels and have larger home footprints. And we saw none, the waterfront ones again, trading in the 7 to 9 mil band within the 2+ years because the only waterfront trades were in Bird Rock. And again, I want you to understand that this does not mean that to get into La Jolla Shores waterfront, it's a $9 million minimum, because that is not accurate. History shows these homes trading well into the 8 figures. For example, the 4 most recent sales on El Paseo Grande were from 2020 to 2021. They closed from just over $10 million to nearly $25 million. But that was back then, about half a decade ago. We have another one on El Paseo Grande that sold back in 2004 for nearly $11 million. So that was 22 years ago, and it was already in the 8-figure range. So Shores has been there for some time, clearly. Then also on Spindrift, we had a recent $15.2 million closing. And then, of course, we have 2 active homes. One is a $17.6 million home. And then, of course, we have the Sandcastle property, which is still the highest priced home for sale in San Diego County, currently listed at $92.5 million, which is down roughly 14% or $15.5 million from the original list price of $108 million. Could there be an outlier? Possibly. There is that one home on Princess that is considered to be the last true waterfront property there. It's more tucked in, so although it is a wonderful location, it is not the most premium location in comparison to the rest of those Shores waterfront properties. It also sits on 0.21 acres, which is the smallest lot size within range in the Shores, okay? So anyways, this property traded about 4 years ago in 2022 for $5.1 million. So hypothetically, if it came to market today in the same condition, no major changes, major structural changes, or major changes on the finishes, renovations, whatnot, then yes, it is possible. Maybe. Never say never. So if I was a buyer, I would absolutely expect to pay 8 figures to secure a true oceanfront property in La Jolla Shores. So, Bird Rock waterfront sellers, if you have one buyer who says, I would love to live in Bird Rock in the $7 to $9 million range, or you have another buyer who says, I would love to secure a waterfront property in La Jolla, but I'm not willing to write a $15 million check. Well, neither buyer will have many options to choose from, right? Because again, the data is showing us that Bird Rock is where these 7-figure waterfront trades have been continuing to exist. So if Bird Rock keeps pumping out these deals predictably over the next few years, and again, there's not very many options, right? There's limited inventory, then it's safe to say that you as a seller can use that as your leverage, because these buyers are automatically being pushed into Bird Rock because that's where the activity is. That's where the activity is existing. So anyways, that is the leverage that you can use as a seller. And for a buyer, if you're interested in Bird Rock, then I really do believe you need to study the market. You need to study Bird Rock on a deeper level, because then you can really understand where the opportunity is for you. So anyways, thanks again for watching. I'm Tara Ravenbach, your La Jolla Native Insider. Thank you and have a great night.